All right, all right. I see people are starting to come in, so that's good. Um, so welcome everyone to this yet another live training and Q&A call. I'm really happy, that people are joining in. My name is Luis, and I'm really glad to be hosting tonight's call with everyone. Just to so for anyone who's joining for the first time here, what we do go over on this call is basically, on the first part of the session, we are going to go over everything you need to do to get started on the Investment Dominator, right? That's the first half. And then on the other half would be taking any questions you might have brought. So if you're already a user, you have a question, just let me know, and I'll try to answer any questions you may have live on the call. Okay? So let me just get started. So let's see. The first thing you do here is how do you send in those questions? So what you have to do is first join with computer audio. So I think most people have already done that. I see, that I hope everyone is hearing me fine. Uh, the next step is you want to click on the chat button, and then you can anything you write there, I'm able to see it, and I can respond to it. Uh, I'll be taking questions in order. So if you want to type a question now, I'll just answer them when I have the chance. In the order I received them. Okay. And then these calls are also being recorded, and then they are being uploaded to the user guide, so you can actually review these and previous calls if you need to. And then any questions not answered will be saved for the start of this next session. However, we'll try to answer every question tonight. Okay. All right. So I think with that, we can jump on the Investment Dominator. Hopefully, everyone is joining in. I see a lot of people already here. So, yeah, this is in my own Investment Dominator, right? So hopefully everyone can access their system. If you cannot, if you're brand new, you still don't even know, it will be kind of weird because to get to a call, you kind of have to go to the help section here. But if somehow you got in, what you would do is we have the support section or the help section here. You submit a ticket, we'll be sure to get back to you. We also have a support section inside the Investment Dominator main website, so you can also contact us there, right? So hopefully everyone can access their own Investment Dominator. And then what I have to do is fill out all of my company information here, and then so to fill out all before you can think of sending your first mailing, which I'm sure many of you are excited to do, you need to first fill out all of your company information into the system, right? And the reason it's like that is because you have to all of that is used. Your phone numbers are on the letters, your email, your mailing address is the return address for the letters. The websites are on the, well, at least the buying website is on the letters. So that's why we need to focus. The first thing to focus on is to go through the training you may have purchased, and also to go to finish setting up the Investment Dominator, so you can actually successfully send your first mailing campaign, right? So to do that very easily, what we have here is a setup wizard here. So when you first go into your Investment Dominator, you should be greeted with this message, which says, "Welcome to the Investment Dominator 2.0 all-in-one system. To get started, click on the setup button," right? So this is what we call the setup wizard. And then if you just click on this setup button, it will pull. So I have already done it, but I can start from the beginning again. So this is the first screen, which is your own profile information, right? So we'll need to fill all this information. So at least your name is usually here, but this so if you need to change how you address on the letters, you need to change this information, right? This is gonna be on the letters. So just put your name or how you would like to be addressed here. Next up, we have a profile picture. This one is actually optional. This one is not going to be public. It's not going to be out there for everyone to see. It's just for your internal team, that everyone can have their own profile, and everyone can attach a picture to the profile. That's why it's there. It's for internal use only. So it's actually optional. So you don't need to fill it out if you don't want to. But if you want to have your own profile, just know that it won't be public. And it's the same actually for this email and this phone number. They're not public. They're not going to be out there. So if most likely for most people, it's going to have your personal information here, like your personal email and phone number. That's fine. You can keep those in this section. Later on, we are going to be setting up also the company information, the company phone and the company email. Those I would not recommend you use your personal phone numbers or email for, right? You want to have a business email address and a business phone number. Okay, sorry. The lastly, we have the time zone. So this is your own personal time zone. You set it up here, whatever your time zone is. So the hours in the system match your actual time zone, right? So that's why it's here. We have tasks that you can create and assign to users in the system, and they will go in the time zone that they set up, right? Um, we're almost finished with the profile, but we first have to set up a digital signature. So I already have one here. You have the option to uh, upload your actual signature if you prefer. You can simply if you have it as a picture, you can actually upload it as a picture, and it will look great. You can also just generate one. So this one is not my actual signature. I just put my own name. So if you fill it out here, you actually just put your own name there, and you can select from a couple fonts, and then it will be. This is a marketing signature, so it's not like it doesn't have to be your actual signature, right? So it's just gonna be on the letters, and it is a requirement. So that's why you want to be sure to have a signature here. You can also kind of like draw one. So if you are really good with the mouse or something to, like draw it, or you have like a tablet or something, you could also technically, you know, uh, write your signature or draw it, right? And then lastly is how do you plan to use this system? So are you using it as individual, or as a company or DBA, or you're just not sure yet, right? So the idea is you can mail letters as an individual with your own name. So you just mail, under your name, your real name, or as a company. So if you already have a company set up for this business, or you plan to create one, which is I think the general recommendation, if you go to the training, is that you create a company. However, that doesn't mean you cannot send your first letters. Like you don't have to wait until you decide to set up the company to send your first letters, right? You can start as an individual or set up a DBA, which is doing business as. So it means just under what business name are you using to send the letters, right? So you can do DBA and then you just put some sort of alias, right? So you select the option. If you're not sure, that's fine. It doesn't really change anything. So you can just select the option that most agrees with you, right? So just click next here. And then we are going to get to the company information section. So this is where we actually change all of the front-facing information in your system. So we have company phone here. We actually have a recommendation for the phones. Uh, so you will see there's a company phone here, but if you scroll just a little bit down, and I won't confuse everyone, but in the next section, in the buying acquisition section, there's going to be an offer phone. And then on the selling dispositions part, there's going to be a third line, phone line. So what we actually recommend, instead of getting like three different, phones and each one with a line or something, what you would do is, yeah, consider getting like a virtual phone system, which is ultimately it's like an app on your phone where you can purchase virtual lines, right? You can purchase those three lines I'm talking about on this simple app. And then when each of these lines rings, it will actually ring on your phone just like if it were a regular phone call, right? And the idea is, again, it's cheaper, and you don't have to carry, three different cell phones or something. And also, it's all, you be sure that it's a portable line so you can actually uh, consider maybe in the future you can switch to something like a call center. Uh, you can give this phone number. You can give it to a call center, so they can take care of the calls for you. That would be an extra expense, of course. So you have to take that into account. But yeah, and also there's like new emerging things all the time. Now we have like AI companies that can take care, like AI bots that I can also take care of those calls for you, right? So yeah, if you want that over like having a call center, it's obviously less expensive, a less expensive option. So you can choose to do that, or you can just take care of the calls yourself, right? So what I'm gonna do is go into the user guide. So this is the user guide that has like all of the articles on all the sorts of investment domino related training. You can always access that over at the help section here at the top right. So I don't want to close this, so that's why I already have it open. We go to help, and then there's a user guide button here, right? And it will take you to the user guide. And then the one I want to show you is the phone article. It's called Quo. So the one I recommend is the recommended three-line phone system setup. And then Equinox Solution is the AI phone bot that I was just talking about, right? So if you're interested in looking into that, you can check this training here, and then just go through it and see if that's something that you're interested in. But what the one I at least recommend everyone is to consider getting Quo. So Quo is the virtual phone system, and then you can get those three lines in this app, and then just use those as your phone numbers. Okay, so I'm gonna put that on the chat so everyone can access that this article if they want. And yeah, Brandy says saying AI receptionists answer calls, create transcripts, and have apps you can call through. Technology nowadays, that's very true. So that's just the reality we live in right now. We are applying AI tools to the investment dominator as well. So if you want to embrace that, that's just a consideration, right? And it's going to be changing all the time. So that's just my recommendation for the company phone. Some people choose, hey, they don't want to expend the extra money, and that's perfectly understandable. And you can actually get by. I would still not recommend that you use your personal phone number here. What I would recommend at the least is to at least get a free Google Voice phone number. So if you sign up for Google Voice, they actually give you a phone number that's different from your personal one, and at least use that as your business phone. That's what I would do if you're just not going to spend the extra money on getting the lines or the AI thing or whatever. That could be a solution at least there over using your personal phone number, right? You don't want to mix your personal information with your company information or your business information, right? Yeah, Carl is saying I'm using Google Voice for starting. Yeah, that's fair. And you can always come back and change in the future. Of course, any letters that you send will have the old Google Voice phone number. So that's why, ideally, if you can from the beginning, you could set it up like I'm telling you. That's best. But I understand that the extra setup and the extra expense is not something everyone can do right away. Uh, okay. So the company fax here, of course that's optional. Most people don't use fax nowadays, so you can leave it blank. The company email. So here, it's probably gonna have your personal email by default. Again, that's something that you want to change, and you have two options for this. You can get like a free email address. Uh, you know, like here, I have a free Gmail account here, and that works perfectly fine as long as it's not your personal email. Like it's a business email, that's perfect. You can use that, and it works. Many people use it like this, and it's great, right? However, you can also do the other option would be to actually get an email service based on the URL. Remember, you get to websites with the Investment Dominator, you can get like an email like this, like Luis at yourdomainname.com, right? This might look a little bit more professional, or you can call it info or admin. It doesn't really change. It doesn't really matter what you choose, but it might look a little bit more professional like this. but it is like an extra expense that you have to sign up for the email service. You would go to pretty much GoDaddy. You can go to other domain registers as well and get the email service. Uh, and you will have to get the domain and the email service, right? We can actually provide you. So later on, you will see we are going to the section. The next section actually is to get a domain. We can get you a domain for free. So if you don't want to actually sign up for GoDaddy, you can actually get the domain for free, but not the email. So if you want to get the email, I recommend getting the domain and the email together, right? That's my recommendation. But yeah, it is your choice. Do I want the free email? Do I want to get one based on my domain here? Uh, I can tell you that both work and both use them. Well, both are used, in the community, right? So, yeah, you set up quote, but you only have one number. Yeah, you can absolutely update into the tree line setup at any time. Because there's real advantages knowing what the call is about before they, based on what phone rings. That will be one of the main advantages, and the other would be you can actually delegate the call eventually to a call center or the AI thing, things like that. How much do the lines cost? So I think so. I don't have the exact price, and I would recommend that you check here lpgphone.com. But I think it's about at least $30 per month. So that's could be a little bit more. It's right for free, but then you have to actually pay for it. But maybe at least $30. So I'm not sure if anyone has those three lines set up here with in the call. If you don't mind mentioning that, if you know about the pricing, if you don't mind mentioning that, I appreciate that. But at least, yeah, I'll tell you at least $30, possibly more, likely more. Okay. All right. So that's the phone number. Next up, the email. Next up is the company address. This is called the company address, right? Again, I would not recommend using your home address. I recommend getting like a I you can get you can go two ways here. I mean, three ways technically. You already have like a place that's not your home where you can receive mail, such as like an office space. You can use that address, right? If you have like an actual office. If you don't have that, if your office is in your home, I would recommend against using your home address, but you can actually do it. But remember, it's going to be the return address for each and every letter that you send. So everyone will know your home address. People can look you up on Google and see your home. Some people may get crazy. They may get offended by even getting an offer from you anyway. So that's why our recommendation over that would be either get like a virtual mailbox service, again, another virtual app that you can sign up for. But basically, what you're gonna do is the company I recommend is Anytime Mailbox. Yeah, and we also have an article for this, and it's a relatively inexpensive service that again it starts about $10 per month, I think. Maybe a little bit more depending on the needs, but this basically they will provide you an address here. So you will choose where you want that address to be, right? It could be anywhere in the US, right? You could do it close to your home, or even if you're not living in the US, then you kind of forced to use this option and get like a virtual mailbox. You can get it out of any city you want. Well, there's 2,500 locations, so it may be close to this place, right? And then what you would do is they will give you the virtual mailbox, and then any mail that you receive, what's going to happen is it will get sent back to your email. So if anybody the letter gets returned, or somebody sends you mail, it will be sent to your email address. It will be scanned and sent to your email address by using this service, right? So you sign up, they give you an address, you just put it here under company address, and then you will receive the mail here, right? Then the other option would be to get like a PO box. You could go sign up for a PO box service close to you, and then just get the mail there. Or if you already have a PO box server, you can use that, and you don't mind using it for the business as well. You could do that as well. Okay. And then lastly, we have the company time zone. So this is the actual office hours. So the letter will actually say, we work 9 to 5 Pacific or whatever you choose here, right? So just know have that in mind. But yeah, it's just like the general company time. So and then next we have the buying brand. So what you would do here, you can put your company name here. You can put a DBA, which is like an alias. So for example, I could do DBA Luis Baisland. This is not really my company, so I don't have this company, but I could do doing business as just as my own as this under this brand, right? For now. Or if I already have a company, so let's say I actually do have this company and it's an LLC, I could do something like this. Or if you're starting just as an individual, just put your own name here, right? That could be a thing. You could put your domain. So remember, you're getting it. So it's kind of weird because you're getting domain on the next step here. But if you get a website here, you can put the same buying brand here as your website. So if I get Luis buys land like this, you can get that, for example, and use that as your buying brand and as your domain. Hopefully, I'm not confusing you with that, but yeah, it's just what it says on the letters. That's what it's gonna. This is gonna be on the letters as your company name. That's all you have to think. As your buying brand, right? Next, we have the buying website domain. So here's what I was talking about. We can actually, with the Investment Dominator, you actually get two websites and also two domains for free. That means all you have to do is think what you want your domains to be called. The Investment Dominator will purchase that domain for you and actually link it to your website. And then you're going to have a functional, real website online. All you have to do is think, what do I want my site where I purchase land? This is the buying website is where you purchase land from people. What do I want it to be called? You can call it related to your buying brand, to your company name, or something that evokes like buying land. Something that means that you're looking to purchase land that is not too hard to type, right? Because people are expected to go to their browser and actually type this thing. So you don't want it to be 100, letters long and use symbols and whatever. So you want it to be something relatively concise that explains what you do, right? So for example, if I want Luis buys land or buyland.com, something like this, then you have to make sure that it's available because if somebody already owns this, it won't let me purchase it. It has to be unique, right? So if I check availability, it will tell me if it's available or not. So it is. So it tells me it's available for registration. If I really like this, and I'm sure I like this because you only get one for free, by the way. You get one buying site for free and one selling site for free. If you want to change it later, what you're gonna have to do is purchase the domain on your own. You will have to go to GoDaddy, purchase the domain, and then link it. Okay. So make sure that you really like it, and then just press register domain, and that's it. That's all you have to do related to your websites, right? So if you get something that already exists, for example, I know for sure land.com is already taken. It will tell you if and I press check availability, it will tell me, oh, that's already taken. Pick something else, and it can give you some tips. By the way, this doesn't mean that these are available. I probably Useland is most likely going to be used already, for example. So if I try, oh, it's not. Okay. I like this domain, useland.com. Well, uh, so yeah, you just have to pick a domain for buying domain that you like and that is available, and one for selling. That's the next step. That's gonna be on the selling part. Okay. All right. So the offer phone number. So remember when I talk about the three lines from the virtual phone service. So the second line is the offer phone. So this phone number only rings when you have sent an offer because it's only printed on the offers. On the offers, you say, hey, I offer you this much for your property. If you have questions, if you want to discuss this offer, just call this number, just this number. So if it rings, it means somebody wants to discuss your offer, or they want to accept your offer, or they want to talk about the offer you have made. So that's a call that you want to take yourself. You can leave that to the AI or the phone call center or something. Because only you will know, or whoever's making the offers. I mean, uh, you know, discuss the offer or something like that. A call center will not be equipped with uh, you know, negotiating an offer, or all that. So that's why ideally you have the second line just for offers, and also because it's a more important call that the first call, which is the new offer request, right? So that's a call you want to prioritize, and then later on the selling side phone number. That's an even more important call because that's somebody who wants to purchase a property from you, right? That is interested in a property that you're selling, and that's why they're calling, right? So that's the one that actually makes you the money, right? And then lastly, we have offer email. So you can have a second email just for offers. So for example, you can get offers at yourdomain.com. I will say though, it's not that important to have a second email. I don't think you're going to be getting like too many emails, like hundreds of emails where you're going to get confused. I would advise use the same email. That's what I see most people do. You just get one email. But if you're really, tidy, you really want to keep, different inboxes, you're gonna be checking them all. You can have a second email just for offers here, right? Or you can paste the same one that you chose earlier, right? So that's what I would do. I just use the same one. And then lastly, if you are a licensed real estate agent slash broker, this is a disclosure. This is just like a default disclosure. You have to make sure that this one is fine. That is legal. Check that. With your lawyer. Make sure that this is basically disclosure is going to be printed at the bottom of the letters and also on your website. So it will because in most cases you are required to disclose that you're a real estate agent, right? And that's why we have this disclosure. But if you're not, you can just say no, and that's perfect, right? Okay. So the selling brand. So again, this is how you want your selling part of the business, where you sell properties, be called. So my recommendation at this point is actually to call it something different from the buying side. The reason you want to actually keep your buying and your selling separate, right? So you want your buying side to be called something and your selling side to be called something different. Uh, so the idea behind that is people can Google your name and then they can Google your company name and then they will see that the land that you purchase, you offer a different price than the prices of where you're selling, right? Because you're looking to flip properties. That's what this business is essentially, right? But then if they get an offer from you for a certain amount and then they see that you're selling properties for another amount, that will be a call that you're going to have to, have. Some people maybe understand it, some people less so. And that's why generally you want to keep those two separate. You want to have people who you want to purchase land from and people you want to sell land to, right? So that's why you want to keep those two separate. That's why we have two websites in the first place. I mean, technically you could have buying and selling on the same website. I mean, it's just like you can have like another section just for selling, right? But it's generally in your
Best interest.
yeah, it's convenient to you that you keep those two separate. That's the idea. So just call it, I could do luissalesland.com. Let's see if that one is available. And yeah. So if I wanted to get it, I'm not gonna get it for real because I do this call all the time. So but if I really wanted to register this domain, I'll just click register domain and that's it, right? So and then my selling brand I could do Luis Sells Land, right? And then lastly is the sales line. So this is where this is the phone number that will ring whenever you're selling it. Sell it. Let's say you get a property under contract next you're looking to sell it, right? So you're going to advertise this everywhere. You're going to go to Facebook Marketplace, to Craigslist. You're going to advertise it. You can send neighbor letters to neighbors of this property. Uh, and then on everywhere, you're going to attach this phone number. So if they want to, call about this property, they should call this number, right? And so if this phone rings, it's because they want to ask questions about the property that you're selling, right? So that's why ideally you will have a third line just for sales, and that's why that's why we recommend that model with the three lines, right? So you just put that here if you choose to. If you get a one line, just put the same phone number here. And it's fine. I mean, you can do it like that. It's just less convenient. That's it, right? And then the sales email, you can get like a second email for sales, right? Or you can use the same. You can get away with using the same, or just get a separate one. For example, Luis at luissalesland.com, right? You could do that. You can get a second email or just use the same. I mean, it's up to you how you want to set it up, right? But you need to set it up. That's the important part. We need all of this information that we're doing now is on the letters, and that's why we need to finish this process first before we can think of mailing our first campaign, right? But that's it. That's gonna be it. When I click next, the last thing is to review the information, make sure that everything here is accurate, right? And if anything is wrong, you just click edit and you can come back. You can go back and change it. And by the way, if you miss anything of this, it's fine. Don't think that you cannot change this ever again, right? You're not stuck with this forever. You can always come back and change, and I can show you where you would change this information, right? So I'm just gonna click complete, and then it will say, hey, your investment summary is ready to go. It will give you articles to the next steps that you should do. So once you have finished setting up the company, the next thing is to download some records, right? So this is what generate a target prospect list means. It means download some records into your system. You most likely got some free leads when you sign up for it. The amount depends on the program, on the promotion, all that stuff. But you probably got some free credit records that are ready to be spent. So just the next step would be go and spend those. You have to think of where you want them. You should not just use them randomly, by the way. You have to select a certain target areas that have potential, basically. And for that, I mean, I'm not sure how many of you are keeping up with the new training. For example, Jack has mentioned how to use the AI tool to find uh, counties that have potential for. So this is the AI chatbot here, and then you can ask it questions, right? So one of the questions that you could ask is actually, what is a good area to invest in? So you could tell them, is this area good, right? And then it will look up in the information. Basically, in the past, what you used to do is you have to first select a few target areas and then actually manually check if they're good, right? And you could still do that over just using the AI. That could be a good option to reinforce. You could use it like a starting point and then actually double check yourself manually to make sure that this area is good. So I recommend that again, a lot of you probably purchase some training like the LPG 3.0 training or the quick start training, some sort of training. Uh, so I would recommend that you also go through it before you do your first import, because the training does contain steps on how to choose good areas to send your mailers to, right? Potentially good areas, right? But yeah, that's the first step. The next step is to send the first letters. So after you download the records into the system, the next step is to actually send the letters to those people and then start talking to them, right? The letters are going to get to them. You're going to, the letters you pretty much state, I want to make an offer for your properties. If you want to receive an offer, just call me. You can call me back or go into my website, fill out the form. and that means I know you want an offer, and then I will send you an offer, right? That's how it works. Yes, the AI copilot is this robot thingy, robot friend. Just click on it, and then you get some default questions here. You can also ask it questions like custom questions here, right? It can give you articles like, hey, do you have an article on this thing on how to do this? It will help you with that. You can ask it again questions, all sorts of questions, and that's why we have that here, right? All right. So that was the initial training. I want to answer now questions from people. I haven't seen too many questions, but I'll get Benewende sent questions very early on. Hopefully you're still here, and I'm sorry because I had to go through that training first. But how to change the phone number at the bottom of the selling website? Yes. So on your websites again, you can check those here. By the way, go to settings and then websites, and then you can get those here, right? So. I know what you mean. You want to change the footer on the website. You actually, for that, that's one of the few things that are still not implemented in the 2.0 version. So you actually need to switch to the legacy version. I know this is kind of convenient for people that just want to get only on the 2.0. There's like very few things that are still exclusive to the legacy version, and this is one of them. So I have to click here, go back to the beginning, so to the starting point of the Investment Dominator, and then switch to the legacy version real quick, okay? So I'm gonna click Legacy, confirm, and then I'm gonna go to Customize here, and then Buying Site, oh, or no, the Selling. So you want to change the Selling, but the same applies if you want to change the Buying. So go to the Selling Site Settings here, and then hang on a second. Then we need to get to the footer section. Okay, so go to customize selling site settings, and then scroll down until you get to the footer section. So you see where it says footer here. What you have to do is make the change here. So possibly what you had the old number. You can click reset footer to change it to the default values, and then what you can do is just change the phone number here, right? So you just change the phone number here, and then any other change, right? You can change your address here. You can change any of the sections. You can change all that here. And then when you make the changes, all you have to do is scroll all the way down and then press update site. Okay. And now my selling website will have the new footer, right? So I just changed that. Remember, I had like a 6 here or something. So I just changed it, 2026. That's how you change the footer, and it's the same for the buying site. You will have to go to customize buying site settings, scroll all the way down to the footer section, which is it's here, right? So again, you change what you need here. You can reset it, change what you need, and then just press the save once you have it, right? If you don't want to go to the legacy version, by the way, what you could do is just submit a ticket. We'll be more than happy to help you make those changes. You tell us, hey, can you change this phone number into this one? We're more than happy to do that if you really don't want to like go back ever into this version, right? But yeah, this is one of the few things that are just still exclusive to the legacy version. Okay. Now, do I have any more questions? So let me see. Big phone lines. Yes. Remember to refresh after you change your filters. Yes, Rennie. So it sounds like you possibly had you imported some records, you made some changes to the filters, but then, so let me tell you everyone, so for everyone who doesn't know, who's brand new, how do you download those free credits that I mentioned, right? Or how do I download records into my system? So what you have to do is click where it says prospecting here, right? And then go to the all the way to the right where it says wizards, and then find deals, right? And this is where you actually download records. So you see how import or generate a target prospect list. Uh, so the option that I'm talking about is the data service. So that's where those free credits, that's where you spend those free credits that you got, right? It will tell you how many you have available. So you can see how I have 3,300 available. So you can choose. It will tell you how many you have, and then you can actually choose how many you want to spend. So let's say you have 1,000 from when you sign up. That doesn't mean you have to spend 1,000 right away into one county. You can actually separate those. You can try to send a certain amount to one county in a certain. You can divide it in 200 for five different counties. Just giving you an example. I'm not telling you that that's a good that's the best idea or something, right? But yeah, you can choose that, and then you will choose define your criteria, and then click next. And then here you all you have to do to download the records is select which county and which state. I mean, which state and then which county. So let's say I just want some Mojave County records from Arizona, and then you see how I have close to 25,000 records estimated. All right, that's pretty good. Now, would you like to use those standard filters? You can actually change the settings so you can actually do a very specific campaign of things that you're looking for, right? So one of the most common examples, so you see the most popular here is the market value. If you choose to go for high market value properties, so for example, a $10,000 worth property, uh, well, I mean, you're not as likely to make as much of a profit, of course, than a high property value, right? So let's say I go for 200,000 and up properties. Now, what Brenny is talking about is if you make this change, but don't you need to always click this button. You see there's like this small refresh button. This will actually apply all the filters that you make here. So if I don't please press this button, it's not gonna take into account that I just updated this value. So if I click here, it will tell me, and you will know that the filter worked because the number will fluctuate. So you can see how it went way down because there's not that many properties in this county that are that the market value are over 200,000. So now there's only 3,000, but these are all properties that have a market value of over 200,000. And the same applies for acreage, sale price. There's many different filters here that you can utilize to send to very specific market, right? A very common. I only want to mail to individuals, not companies. You can choose to mail to out of state. So a very common thing is I don't want to mail to people who live in Arizona. What you would do is mailing state is not Arizona, right? And what's going to happen is I'm going to skip all of the records where the mailing state is Arizona. That means the only records I'm going to get are people who live out of state but have the property in this county, right? So if I do that, the number will go way down as well. It's only 900. So, but the idea is these people may be uh, less likely to really care for this property. That's the idea, right? I'm just giving you some, ideas. That doesn't mean that you actually don't even need to change any of these values. You see how this is an optional thing? The standard filters are pretty good. So if you don't want to complicate yourself, you can just leave it to the standard filters and that's perfect. And just download some records like that. Okay? But yeah, that's how it works. Uh how do how do I edit the neutral letter? So that's a good question. Yeah. So the default letter works great. However, some people need to make changes, right? Maybe the very common thing is I want to add my logo to the letter because the logo is not on the letter by default. That's a common thing. Another thing, I just want to change the wording slightly, or another thing is I want to have like my family picture, so just to show that this is like a family-owned business, something like that. That's the type of things that you may be interested in doing to change the content of the neutral letter, and that's absolutely something you can do. You can change any of the letters actually, or you can just create specific letters. Some people don't use the default letters at all. They have their own. mailings, their own letters that you can actually create inside the Investment Dominator. So to show you how to do that, first we have to go to the user guide, right? And then go for search for neutral letter. And then the article is called How to Customize the LPG Neutral Letter Template, right? So I'm gonna put that in the chat so you can check it as well. And then basically what we have to do is go into settings, campaigns, and then settings, campaigns. And then you can see I already have a ton of letters. So these are our custom letters. But of course, if you're brand new, you're not going to have any of these. And then to create one, you have to click here where it says add template. So I'm going to click on it. And then I have to call it something. So for example, I call it costume neutral letter QA 2026. You're right. Just as an example. Next, you have to set up the configurations. So yeah, give it a title. I already did that. Under the to field, it should be owner, land only, yes. The file type, PDF, yeah. Or you can choose both if you want. If you want to print it in the doc format. The layout, you should leave it to portrait, right? So if you need to do some landscape letters, you can absolutely do that if you want. But yeah, the letter is going to be portrait. And then where it says content, so what it's telling me is click the edit source button and then copy and paste all of this. So I feel first I'm going to copy all of this content. This is the actual text from the letter. So this is like the default letter code. It's in HTML code. So what I'm going to do is click where it's here where it says edit source. And I know it's kind of hard to tell. So it's this button. You can see how it has the code like brackets. And then you paste all of the code here. I just pasted it. Or you can do right click and then paste, right? And then I just press save. And then you can see how the letter is automatically here, right? So now after this, when I have the default letter, then I can make the changes I want. Then I can add the picture. I can change the wording. So let's say, uh, I don't want to do cover the 100% closing fees. And I'm not saying you should change that. I'm just telling you if you wanted to remove that part of the letter, just remove it, right? Or if you need to change some sort of wording here, whatever you want, you can then make the changes, right? But this is how this basically works, and this is how you create your custom letter. And it's the same for the other letters. So, by the way, I missed some steps. So after copying the letter, there's some steps down here as well. So allow generate envelope label. So that should be here. So you can leave it to no. Okay. Allow REI PrintMail. So if you plan to send this through REI PrintMail, you have to select yes, right? And then you can choose black and white or color, right? So you can actually mail in color. So your logo and your picture, whatever makers you change, uh, are there, right? So you can choose to mail in color. That I think it's a little bit more expensive. So you have to consider the pricing. And again, the pricing is set by REI PrintMail, not by us. So you will have to confirm how much it costs. You can try to send a letter, but don't send it for real, and that's how you can tell the current pricing, right? And then allow bulk update. Yes, I want it to be moved to mail letter one, right? And then allow export data. Yes, per each property. No. So you want to make sure that the neutral letter is per owner, right? If you say yes here, so and again, it should be here, no per each property. If you say yes, that will generate one letter per property. But remember, you can have 10 properties by one person. If you select the option yes, you're gonna send them 10 letters with the same thing, just with a different property, and they're gonna get annoyed. They're most likely gonna call you and say, "Why did I receive 10 letters from you at once?" It's kind of annoying. So that's why you want to make sure to follow the instructions here. For the neutral letter, it should be per owner, so not per property, right? So with that, I'm just gonna save it, and then I can actually use the letter when I go to campaigns. the letter will be one of the options in the drop-down menu, right? So if I go to prospecting and then campaigns here to send my letters, the letter should be under prospect letter here. Let's say want to mail out all of these records, and then using so because I have so many letters already, many custom documents, is how I have a ton because I do it all the time. But you see, this is the one I just created now, custom neutral letter Q&A 2026, and I can use it, and I should be able to send it through REI PrintMail here. So you see how that works, right? Uh, that's how you create custom documents, and you can do the same for the offers as well. So we all have an article as well. So it should be custom offer, and that should also contain all of the offer templates, the blind offers, the default offers, all of that stuff should be all over here, right? So that's pretty much how you create the custom documents. If something is not clear or something is not working, what I would suggest is going to the help section, creating a support ticket. That's how you can get in contact with us in the tech support team. Uh, we can go in and check your documents, see if there's something wrong, some formatting happened or something. We're more than happy to check and help you make sure that you can use that custom document. Okay. And by the way, not just for this question, but for any technical support question, this is part of the support that you guys get, everyone gets, right? We have this call. You can come here and ask questions Monday, but that doesn't mean you don't have support for the rest of the week, right? At any time you can submit a ticket here. Go ahead and create a ticket for any questions or any issues that you are experiencing. Just let us know the technical issues. Let us know, and then we'll be more than happy to answer and get back to you as soon as possible. Okay? We can send you the training. We can send you videos to make sure that you're able to progress, of course. Okay. All right. So let's see what other questions we have here. Um, so once you use the tokens for a campaign, is that it, or can you change them out? So, to you mean you probably been here. You probably mean to download records, the credit records. When you spend those credit records, that's it. So let's say you don't want to mail and you regret, hey, I imported 500 from this county, but I don't want to mail them. Unfortunately, we cannot like just take those records and give you back the credits. You use them and that's it. Those are spent. However, you can purchase more like you said. What's going to happen is when you run out of credit records. So right now, maybe you still have some from when you first sign up. If you run out of credit records, you're actually going to be, it will say, hey, you need to sign up for the data service. You can actually pay we have like a monthly subscription that gives you a certain amount of credit records per month, right? And let me check what's the different plans. I'll just put it here just 1 second. But yeah, we have three different plans for, depending on the amount of letters that you plan to send per month. Hopefully one of these will fit. So let me just pull up the article here 1 second. Um, how to add or pay data service. Yes. So this is the article, how to add the paid data service to the program. Once you have used those, and these are the three programs that we have. So on the lower end is 470 credits per month. That's $47 per month, right? 10 cents per credit. The middle program is 1385 credits per month, but that runs you $97 per month, and it's 7 cents per credit. And then the highest program is 2,450 credits per month, and that's $147 per month, right? And 6 cents per credit. So after you spend all your credit records here, if you try to import more, that's when it's gonna tell you that you have to get one of the plans. It's going to invite you to get one of the plans, or you can also You can actually also sign up for the service over at settings and account. And then in here, you log in here and you can actually get the get credits here. Yeah, I have to reset the password here. But if you log in here on the account section, you can actually manage your subscription here, including the data service, right? You can cancel and you can also add like a subscription, right? So that's how you would do it. All right. How do you delete records? Okay, yeah, that's pretty simple. All you have to do to delete a record is first you have to find the record, right? So you can search for it here, like search for it by the ID, by the name, whatever it is. Or if it's a series of records, so let's say I want to delete these five records, right? These five records are bad for some reason. They're actually not, but I'm just going to delete it just to show you. Uh, all you have to do is check the records that you want to delete. You can check just one record, or you can check whatever many records you want to delete, right? So let's say I want to delete these five, and then I'm going to go over to actions here at the top right, actions, and then delete properties. You see that? I delete them, and it tells you, hey, you're going to delete five properties. Are you sure? Yeah, I want to delete them, right? And then it's going to be deleted and they're going to be gone from your list. That's how you delete records. Usually, by the way, I will say you should not delete records ever. If you don't want to mail to them for some reason because they're bad records or something, what I would do over deleting them would be to go to the only reason to delete them is if you download bad information for some reason, right? That doesn't really happen very often, but if you did download bad information, remember you can import an Excel file into this investment dominator. So let's say that information was wrong on the Excel file, you can delete those records then. But what you would do if these are records that I don't plan to mail, so you see how land the U.S. land this per land is probably not. I'm not gonna get a deal out of the U.S. right? Or this Dream Finder's home. That doesn't sound like a yeah. I'm just not gonna mail to these right to these three and this company. I'm just gonna say not gonna mail to them. What you would do actually go to actions and then bulk changes, and then you want to change the status of the property. The property status you want to move them out of prospect, but then you can move them into something like file closed, right? So you search for file close here, file closed, and these will keep the records into your system. The idea behind not deleting the records is so you don't download them again. So because I download the five records, I deleted the five records again. That means I can download them again. It's just a waste of money, right? So if these records are just no good for me, I'm just gonna move them to file close. That means these records are just closed. They either call me and say they're not interested. That means they're just a dead record for me. But I'm not gonna delete it still. I'm gonna move it to file closed, right? Or to another status, custom status, that you create just for records that you don't want to in your prospect list, but you don't want to mail, but you also don't want to delete them, okay? So I have this status of invalid address. How do I fix that? Okay, so BKMCA sounds like you invalid address. That typically happens when your mailing address is not right. So you want to go to settings and then company. Maybe it's empty even. Maybe somehow you didn't put anything here. You need to have a mailing address because that's going to be the return address on your letters. If you don't have one, then you cannot mail the letters. They're not going to pass the certification because they don't have a return address. So you need to come here, make sure that the address is a valid one, and I think that's what's going to solve your problem. You either didn't put anything here, or it has some sort of typo or something that you put something wrong. So I would advise that you check this here company address and try
It
again. And you let me know by
it just
submitting the ticket if you still have issues. Okay.
yeah, it just popped up whenever I sent letters and it went through the REI print and then it just popped them back. And so I just wanted to know how I could go in and fix it, but thanks.
Yeah, maybe it's empty, right? Well, or yeah. My property page is not showing on my selling site. So you're Alan, you're selling a property, but it's not on the listings. It's not on the listings, right? So it sounds like the listing is not public. So your property should be around here and listed for sale, right? So you need to, if it's not in this status, by the way, you need to move it to this status, complete, ready to sell, to one of these status so it appears on your listings. If they are in another status, they're not going to be on your selling website. You need to put it on the complete ready to sell if it is complete and ready to sell. And then the other thing you have to do is go into the record, go to the listing part here, and then this listing status here has to be public. So the idea behind this is we don't want to put a listing that's all empty too early. That's why we, by default, this is going to be private because we don't want to list something that's incomplete. We first want to make sure that we fill out all of the information, the description, that we fill out all the information. We can upload a video, we can upload pictures, right? Very important to have pictures. I don't have pictures here, so that's probably not finished yet, my listing, right? So once that all of that is ready, if you have everything else ready, then the last step is to put the listing status back into public, and then I can actually click on this eye icon and it will take me to the actual listing. Right now I have a problem here, but yeah, that's how it works. Please try that. And then if you have any issues, please submit a ticket and then, we can look up the property, make sure, check on why it's not showing. Okay. Now the recording, it's going to be on the user guide. You can actually go to help and then the user guide here, open the user guide. And then there is a section for live training. I will be uploading this call later this week. But yeah, we have all of these of the calls here. So you see how there's a bunch of calls here. These are the replays for the previous week's calls. And I'm gonna upload these tonight's call maybe Wednesday or even tomorrow or in the next couple of days, okay? By the way, we're out of time, but yeah, I'll try to see what else is here. On my screen, I cannot see the bottom. Thank you. Okay. What's the difference between mail letter one and mail letter one neutral? The difference there, BKMCA, is actually, I think the other one that says mail letter one neutral is for houses, and then mail letter one is for land. I believe that's the difference. And so you use the one that says mail letter one. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. I think we managed to finish all the questions. We didn't take too much time. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this call, and I hope to see you all next week. Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.